What made your teacher realize they picked the wrong student to mess with? Our economics teacher, Mr. Williams, was absolutely obsessed with what he called real-world preparation. He had this completely insane rule where if you showed up even 1 minute late to his class, you had to pay him $2 in actual cash. He'd stand by the door with this smug little grin, watching the clock like a hawk. The second that bell rang, he'd slam the door shut, and anyone walking in after had to fork over $2 or get detention. Williams had been pulling this scam for 3 years. He claimed it taught responsibility, but everyone knew he was just collecting beer money. The guy drove a brand new Audi on a teacher's salary, if that tells you anything. Most kids just paid up without question because Williams was notorious for failing students who challenged him. Parents complained to the administration, but Williams always had some excuse about valuable life lessons and preparing students for the workforce. This went on for months. Kids were basically funding his coffee addiction and weekend trips at this point. Some students were paying $10, $15 per week just to attend his class. Then, one morning in October, Maria Santos got stuck in the parking lot. Her little sister Elena had fallen off her bike and scraped her knee pretty bad. There was blood everywhere, and Elena was crying hysterically. Maria couldn't just leave her there sobbing, so she helped clean the wound with tissues from her backpack, calmed her down, and walked her all the way to the nurse's office. Elena was only in 2nd grade and was terrified of being alone. By the time Maria made it back across campus to Williams's classroom, she was 3 minutes late. She'd been checking her phone the entire sprint back, knowing what was coming. Williams was practically rubbing his hands together with glee when she walked through the door. Well, well, Miss Santos, you know the drill. $2 or detention. And since this is your 3rd time this semester, make it $4. But instead of reaching for her wallet like everyone expected, Maria calmly pulled out her notebook and started writing furiously. "Excuse me?" Williams snapped, clearly irritated that his little power trip was being interrupted. "I said pay up or get detention. I'm calculating something important," Maria said without looking up, her pencil moving rapidly across the page. The entire class was dead silent, watching this unfold. Nobody had ever ignored Williams' demand before. "Pay now, or I'm writing you up for insubordination," he barked, his face turning that familiar shade of angry red. Maria kept writing, completely unbothered by his threats. Williams absolutely lost it. He started screaming about failing her, calling her disrespectful, threatening to have her suspended and kicked out of AP classes, the whole 9 yards of teacher intimidation. "I've been teaching for 15 years and I will not tolerate this behavior," he shouted. But Maria just kept calculating. She even asked her neighbor Sarah for a calculator to double-check her work. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, she stood up with this perfectly calm expression and walked to the front of the class. She handed Williams a piece of paper covered in calculations. "What is this garbage?" he sputtered, barely glancing at it. "Your annual income report from tardiness fees," she said sweetly. "You teach 6 classes per day. 2 late students per class means you're collecting $24 daily. Times 5 days equals $120 weekly. $4,000 per year just from this policy. Tax-free, of course." Williams's face went from red to white in about 2 seconds flat. "Should I email this breakdown to the school board?" Maria continued in that same sweet voice. Williams just stood there, speechless. The tardy fee disappeared that very same day.